got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, got me locked in on cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Here in this phenomenal race, Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PSGL. And oh, mate, oh, there you are. You popped out of nowhere. You wasn't there, and then you just popped up. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to PSGL. We're here for the first lobby tonight for the Bahrain Social Race. Obviously, last night PCF1 drove at Bahrain. Bit of controversy coming out that one, but we'll ignore that for today. So we've got our, I suppose we can say, our upcoming esports drivers. Some of the drivers that haven't got a chance at esports yet, but are working their way there, will be racing tonight in this first lobby for Bahrain. Very similar to last night. Apart from the fact, we'll be driving on midday instead of the official night time due to some sort of FPS issues that the drivers are experiencing. But yeah, Omi, hello. It's our first time commentating properly. We did a while back, but the race never actually happened, so we'll ignore that one. But hello.
Hello, yes, I am looking forward to our first commentary. Looking forward to this social race, my first F123 commentary. But yeah, we're gonna finish off with what we started. But I guess we can kind of treat this as our first one together, and it is really going to be a great race, though. And yeah, as you said, midday, so that's going to be something to get used to. But it's better than was it fog? Were we gonna have fog again like yesterday?
I don't think we will because we're on midday, so I don't think
Yeah.
fog exists, which is a good thing. And we started this a bit late because I thought we'd leave it later so we can get everyone in. But the one time I leave it later, everyone's in. So we don't have much time to rush around because we're going to get in the lobby very short. We've got 19 out of 20 drivers in. So we're going to have a little look at the track map. Here we are at Bahrain, the Sakir International Circuit, 5.4 kilometres, 3.3 miles long with 15 corners, 3 DRS zones. The final DRS zone, I suppose you can say, down towards turn 1, then the first DRS zone down towards turn 4, and then the second DRS zone down in towards turn 10. A very difficult track, as turn 11, sorry. Very difficult track. Oh, and it's frozen. There we are. So yeah, as I was saying, very difficult track. There's lots of challenging corners. You've got the slow speed corners down at turn 1, then you've got the really horrible section down at turn 9 and 10. Very easy there to lock up, but you've also got to try and turn in the car, obviously, if you know. When you've got ABS off, turning in and braking doesn't exactly work as you like it to. And obviously you've got the high speed at turn 12, which used to be a death corner, but now it's pretty fine. And then obviously you come down to the final corner, which is also a bit of a pain with locking up and going wide. But I think it's a great track as well for drivers to test their strengths and weaknesses. There's lots of different elements. And what do you think of the track?
Yeah, it really is a great track. It has a lot of different corners, so it's really going to be exciting. We obviously have the 3 straights. I'm hoping that we're going to get a lot of action today, so I'm hoping that it's going to be a bit feisty in there, but obviously a bit more. I'm hoping that it's very clean, but I'm hoping that we also get a lot of action. But all social races, from what I've noticed, we've had a theme of it going down to the last lap, so I'm going to be hoping that we get something similar to that.
Yep, and I hope that's so as well. I think Bahrain's a great track for battling. We'll have lots of battling, and we're going to have a look at the grid because I didn't. Well, I've seen a few of the drivers, but I didn't actually have much of an in-depth look at the grid, so I'm going to look at it now. And obviously, already we can see some names that stick out. So obviously, we've got, I believe, Floris, who's driving in the AlphaTauri. Yes, obviously, former esports driver in 2019. You've got Jona Martins, part of Ferrari. Simone Violo, who I believe is one of the Xbox Challengers drivers from 2022. We have Rishan, obviously taking part in F3 last season. Legend Rosenberg, also part of Challengers, along with Tycho Hardy, who's also in the lobby. They was part of the PS Challengers. Daniel Kaya, part of the PC Challengers. We've got Max Wiesel, as many people know him as the grandpa of F1. He's really quick, and I think every time you see him on track, he's always near the top. But I suppose that's also linking the fact his name's Max. And IRL F1, we've also seen another person called Max be at the top near enough every single session. Harlem and Jeremy as well, 2 of the quick drivers. Jeremy he dropped off a little bit last game compared to 2021, but will be nice to see what he can do at the start of this game. Harlem Marquis, part of Race Clutch, as their development driver, very experienced on the game. I think we've seen him. Well, I've commentated on a lot of races, and most of them I've had Harlem in the lobby, so he's one I know very well. And I believe that is pretty much the whole lobby. There's a couple of drivers I don't commentate over much. Yone Tripkov and Miklona Wiki. I don't see much of them at all, but I think this is a pretty interesting lobby. We're waiting for one more driver to get in, which is one of the Mercedes, and I believe also one of the Hasses. And I'm sure that is Tycho. So we're still waiting on one driver, which hopefully we can get into shortly. But Omi, is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing in this race?
Well, I'm just looking forward to see all of them because I've not commentated on a race on any of them. But yeah, we are readying up now as the timer's starting to tick down. So we'll be into qualifying very, very shortly. And yes, it's going to be a great qualifying. I think it's going to be a close qualifying and a race that includes a lot of battles. But Max Wiesel, I'm looking forward to see what he can do. And yeah, if I look at the grid, really, it's just a really competitive one. So I think we're going to get a very close qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. And after what we saw last night in PCF1, the qualifying was really close throughout all of the Q1, Q2, and Q3. It was really close. So hopefully we see some of that tonight as well. I think generally, sorry, this grid will be a bit more spread because we've got drivers from different tiers. But I think we'll see then groups. We'll see, the top 10 all being close together. Maybe it starts to spread a little bit further down. But we are getting into qualifying. It is a short qualifying session, which is just 18 minutes long. So even though you do see Q1 at the top, there is not a full qualifying session at all. It's just a short, which is 18 minutes, and then we have the race, which is 50%, which I believe is 29 laps. But we are in. It's going to get everything set up onto the stream. Let us know in the chat how the audio sounds and if it all needs to be changed around, because I'm still trying to sort everything and get it all to perfection. So it might be too late. It might be too quiet. But yeah, just let me know in the chat. And I believe we already have someone going out. That is Max Wiesel. Obviously, Max, I'd say looking at the lobby, one of the quickest, definitely the top 3 quickest in here. So we expect to see a lot from him today. Yoda, I was in his Twitch chat earlier, and he didn't seem to be too happy with his pace. So he said, "Don't expect much from me today." So I'm not going to say that because I expect to see lots from every driver, so I'm not going to not expect anything from Yona. I think Yona will still be very decently quick anyway. Compared to the grid, I think in general he's one of the quickest, but we are out, and also we are unfortunately at midday. This is because of the issues at night with FPS on this game, which luckily is going to be sorted out by EA pretty soon. So yeah, we're not going to get a night race in Bahrain, unfortunately, but I think still we'll have great racing nevertheless. And oh, mate, what would you say is your least favourite corner on this track? Because I know what mine is, in terms of driving.
Well, I don't drive often, but I have to say, if I was to drive, then it would be turn 10.
Well, I'm inclined to agree. Turn 9s to 10 are horrible, because if I brake straight, I end up hitting the curb. But if I brake and turn, I end up locking up, because obviously when you shouldn't turn and brake at the same time, otherwise you'll lock up. So yeah, it's not the most ideal corner for me, and I'll probably lose 6, 7, 8 tenths around there than I would anywhere else on the track, which is a shame. I can only manage I think a 29.3 I did, which is still 2 seconds off esports, which isn't ideal. But it's apart from that corner, it's an enjoyable track to drive, especially when you get in the flow, especially his final sector through turns 12, then in towards turn 13. But we'll go on board with Max, as he'll be one of the first to set a lap. Omi, would you like to take us for a lap around Bahrain?
Yeah, so you can see he's just making his way now through, running the car out wide, about to begin his lap. DRS is going to go open, and then you have this straight as you head towards turn number 1. You're straight away focused on the first braking zone of this racetrack. You're going to place the car on the outside line and then just go on the brakes after the 100-meter board and then turn it in. And now as soon as you make your way through 1, you're setting up 2 and 3, and now all the way up the hill you go towards turn number 4. Once again, you're going to place the car all the way on the outside line, and half of the car will be off the circuit. Then just brake before the 50-meter board, turn in, and you can see just having a bit of a slide there as he got on the power. And now through 5 and then through 6, it's a 28.333 through the first part of the lap. And now you can see he's just currently making his way through, about to now go through towards turn 9 and 10. A really, really tricky corner. One of the, I would say it is the hardest on the circuit. Really hard to take the car out wide and then get a good exit, get a good run all the way towards turn 11. Now you have the DRS, and once again you're going to place the car on the outside line, getting ready to climb once again a tiny bit up the hill. This is going to be as you carry the momentum all the way through right now through 12 and then heading towards turn 13, and it's a very long corner this, where you just want to and he's invalidated that one, so that's going to be a lap that won't count for him. But then the final part of this lap is the final corner. There's 2 corners, but there's only really one which you're focused on, which is the braking zone, and getting all over the curb there as Flores goes top.
Yep, Flores at 27.53 to a very nice banker lap there for Flores. And then Meno de Beva, 5 tenths back on a 28.0, so he's got lots of time to gain up on his next couple of runs. I'm on board with Harlan Marquis now. He's coming down in towards the final couple of corners. Lillian there, 28.2, slots him into third, 7 tenths back off Flores there, so a very nice banker lap for Flores indeed. Harlan there, and he sits also 5/10 back. So these initial laps, either Flores is on something mega, or some of these drivers just can't get the lap times they want. Theo McKee that goes into second with a 27.8, and still no one within 3/10 of Flores Wires. And that's Tiger Hardy that with a 27.7, puts himself into P2. Sergio Sobrino into the top 5 with a 28.016. Jonah Martin's a 28.098, and then Lopez a 28.3. As more and more lap times are coming in. Daniel Kai there up into the top 4 with a 27.9. And I'm sorry about the Discord beats because they're annoying me as well in the background. And Simone Viola now, he does a 27.9 as well, puts himself into the top 5. And Rishan Jacobs up to second now. He's on a 27.7 and still 2.5 tenths back from Flores. He's P2 after so many laps coming through. This is going to be a really good lap for Flores. And I think at this point, even if he didn't set another lap, it'd still probably be the top 10 with that. Because a 27.5 for a banker is really good. I think a lot of people are doing 27.5s as their final runs in qualifying. And we have Legend Rosenberg who's coming through now. He's invalidated. Jeremy has also invalidated, I believe. No, he hasn't. He's on a lap now. He's coming through within a 111.806 for his split in the first and second sector as he heads down now in towards the final corners at turns 14 and 15. And I don't think this is a representable time. No, it's not. It should be heading back into the pits. Aljat, who I don't actually know how to say the name properly, but I'll just say how it seems and how it's spelled out. He's now heading up in towards 10-11, you're on a break just before the 50 metre. Throw the car in, back on the power nice and as you head up the hill now in towards turns 12. Just here, you'll just want to throw the car onto the curb if you can. Get yourself a bit of rotation in the corner. And he does a 107.010 in that middle sector split as he now heads down the final back straight in towards the final 2 corners at turns 14 and 15. You've got turn 14, then a bit of a kink to the right is turn 15, but I don't really class it as a corner as he now comes through up towards line. This should be a pretty decent lap. Will it be 27? It'll be 28. Oh, 28.7 there. So it looks pretty clean, but still lots of time to gain for him on his next couple of runs. And Max Wiesel, obviously one of the quickest, I think, in the session. Not setting a time yet, but he's coming around the final corner now to begin a lap.
Yep, he is. But Flores, wait, straight away, he is mega quick. So I can't. Alja has had a spin there. I kind of just put it on pause for a second, but you're almost finding the wall, and even if he isn't really, and he's just doing it for a bit of fun and really not pushing on too much there, you can still ruin your qualifying that early if you go into the wall. But yeah, Flores straight away, really quick there. And exactly what you kind of want. Upper hand already on the field. Even if he has some scruffy runs, he's already kind of guaranteed him a top 10 start. So great there by Flores. And it's just going to get even better. So he is definitely going to be the man to be in this qualifying session so far from what we've seen.
Yep, but Max Wiesel now coming down in towards turn 9 and 10. He's currently on a very good lap time. His first sector of 28.2, so that's a very decent first sector, and he's now heading down with the DRS in towards turns 10 towards turns 11 and 12. Just throw the car in there, and you've got to get on the power nice and early as you head up the hill yet again. Into turn 12, just want to hop the curb, get yourself some rotation as you come then, as you ride the curb into turn 13, a 105.8. Purple in that middle sector as well, so Max on a really good lap at the moment. Gone purple in the first, purple in the second, but he's still got 2 corners to go. So he's got to make sure he can hook these up perfectly as he hopes to try and get himself into that top spot. I think a top 5 will definitely be possible with this lap. But whether he can get himself onto the top and beat Flores is another question. As he now heads up towards the line, what will it be for Max Wiesel? It will be top with a 27.391. That's nearly 2 tenths quicker than Flores Wires. So already, first to third separated by 4 tenths of a second. So at the moment, Max and Flores are on something completely different at the moment. And Thomas Laminen in the other Red Bull, he's now heading up with a 28.5 in that first sector. So 3 tenths down on Max Wiesel as he heads down in towards turns 9 and 10. And already, lap times, you know, it's going to be struggle. It's going to be a real struggle to beat Max Wiesel there. I think last night we had a 27.0, sorry, in PCF1, if I'm 100% sure. If you know in the chat, just let me know. But I think it was around a 27.0. So Max only 4 tenths off that after doing 1 lap. Now, Thomas Laminen comes through with a 106.542 in the first and second sector split as he heads down now in towards the final couple of corners. Obviously, his Red Bull teammate in P1. I don't think he'll be quite close enough to beat Max, but surely a top 10 should be pretty decent for him on this lap because I think many laps are in the 28s. You should not be in the 20s. You should easily be in the 27s, I think, around here. And Thomas only 28.2, which is definitely not the type of lap time he would want. And more people now heading out on 8 laps, so the second runs are qualifying, 9 minutes to go. And yeah, Max Wiesel's time is going to be a real hard time to beat. I think a few drivers, Flores, maybe Richard and Tycho, will be able to have a go at it. But I think, when you're sitting down in the 28.2s, you've got to gain a whole second. So yeah, there's a pretty big spread at the moment, but I'm sure as qualifying concedes, it will get a lot better.
Yeah, I really only see the top 4 in contention for this one. Maybe if Fionn Mickey can find something special, maybe him. But yeah, I don't see anyone outside currently the top 10 unless you made a major mistake on your lap. But yeah, Wiesel, Flores, all in there straight away. So, but a tiny bit more spread than I kind of expected. But obviously, we do have drivers from a different pace levels. So, as we spoke about earlier, we're going to have a bit of a spread between them. But Flores about to go and see what he is able to do as he's about to start a lap. But let's see. So I think this is basically just going to be a battle between Max and Flores now. Mainly, and we'll see if Rishon or anyone else can get involved. But yeah, straight away, brilliant by Max to already be up there and on their first run. So they're only going to get faster. But also Legend about to push on as well on his lap as Jeremy also currently makes his way through turn number 11, and he's going to bring it all the way now through turn number 12 and then 13, sticking on the inside curb, trying to maximize his time. So let's see what he's going to be able to do. And I kind of think he's going to be he's going to get into maybe the top 5. It'll be interesting to see as he's about to make his way through the final corner now, and then he's going to get on the power, running the car right out wide and a bit over the curb there. But let's see with DRS, what can he do? From 18th goes into 3rd, so still just under 2.5 tenths in there. So he's basically in there still. So as also he's joined by his, well, I was about to say his teammate, but no. But Simon also jumping into 4th. So the laps are really, really improving here, as expected, as the driver's not getting... I think there's a few mistakes for the drivers on their first ones, but they are getting faster as we go. So, yeah, but still, no one being able to challenge Max.
Yep, and on board with Flores now as he comes up towards the line. He's been on a really good lap, and he does take that provisional pole back. A tenth quicker than Max Wiesel with a 27.283, and that's Sergio Sabrino up into the top 5. So yeah, a lot of times coming in now. We've got Lopez, Harlem, Lillian, Sergio, Simone, Jeremy, all improving now into the 0.7s and 0.6s, and still, Rishan Jacobs, he was on a lap, but he was 2 tenths down in the middle sector, and he was 3rd. He's now down to 10th as Daniel Coe. That puts himself up into P9, and still many laps to come through. Legend Rosenberg invalidated again, so this qualifying session's really not going well for him. And Legend, he's a very quick driver, so we expect to see him in that top 10, so it's a big shame to see him just not really being too hooked up with the track so far. And Jarno Tripkov also with an invalidation as well. He's now heading down in towards the final couple of corners. Miklo Nowicki has also got a invalidation, and Aljap, he's actually on an improvement, 1.6 tenths, so he's heading out and through, and he's also invalidated. So yeah, many drivers making mistakes here at the start of this qualifying session, and Jona Martins surprisingly hasn't improved. I don't think he actually went out for a second lap. I only saw him on track once, which was at the start of the session. So that's a surprise. And Menno and Fionn, I don't think, have also improved on their laps. Thomas Laminen, though, is going to be now heading out. He's in a bit of a different cycle to qualify. Most people have already set their laps and heading back into the pits, as he is getting ready to begin his second lap. Currently on a 28.2. So 5 tenths off of P5, nearly, well, it's about 9.7 tenths or something off of P1. So he's got lots of time again to get closer to Floris. But if he can get 4 or 5 tenths in this session, he should be able to get himself up into towards that top 5 hours. He comes out of turn 1 and 2, up towards turn 3. Got the DRS as you're heading out down in towards turn 4. You want to brake just around the 100-metre board. It does depend on your setup, and Thomas there braking just before the 50, so being able to brake really late there as he comes through. 6 it in gear 4 on the exit as you fly up, keeping very close to the curves as you come through. 1/10th improvement there for Thomas with a 28.4 there. So we're currently still 2 tenths off the top 2 on their first sectors, but it's definitely an improvement. But he's got to keep it in these next sectors, and he has a big slide coming out of turn 8, so that could lose him sometimes. He now heads down in towards turn 9 and 10 there and hits the curb a bit. That's going to lose him time because he slides through and has a big slide and is going to let off that lap. So Tumas it's just not working for him at all. And I've seen him in many races at the start of this game, and it just doesn't seem like he's been able to get up to grips with the game like he was on F1 22.
Yeah, really, it's a lot of drivers who are really struggling straight away. But two drivers who aren't are Flores and Max. But Max went out there on another one, fastest of all to the first. However, to the second sector, just could not find the time. There wasn't really any major mistakes in the lap. Just couldn't get it together to the second sector. So it's all going to come down now to this last one, which is coming up when they leave the pits between Flores and Max. But Max on the second wasn't able to fight back. So it's going to be interesting to see what he is able to do. So yeah, we're going to have a very close battle though, because if Max can get the lap together through the second sector, which he wasn't able to do, then he's going to be definitely in contention with how fast he was in the first sector. So it's going to be really an interesting end to qualifying, but a lot of drivers are going to be under pressure to get a good spot on the grid, because a lot of them haven't been able to get a good lap by their standards straight away on their first and second runs. So Max has actually left the session.
That's not good. That's probably some sort of connection issue, which isn't ideal with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Hopefully he can get himself back in and get a final lap on the board, and currently on board with Fionn McKee. But I think many drivers here can at least get a bit closer to Max and Flores. I think at the moment the fight for pole is between them two. But I think, you got the likes of Rishan, Tycho, who didn't get their second laps in, so they, we still haven't been able to see what they can do under the optimal conditions. And also, you have Jeremy, Simone, who are all sitting 2 or 3 tenths back. If Flores and Max mess up on their final runs, then Jeremy and Simone can make real advantage of these conditions. They can also be up there fighting for that pole. Jeremy, to be honest, is the biggest surprise for me seeing him up in P3. I think last season in PSGL, many drivers in here was in F2, and Jeremy is unfortunately one of the slowest. So it's nice to see him back up to where he wants to be and back up to where he should be. But we talk about the spread being quite large. But to be fair, between P5 and P11, it is less than a tenth. So it is getting a lot closer. It's just the top two are on a different level at the moment. And Fionn McKee getting ready to begin his final run of the session. If he wants to make a mistake on this lap, he could. If he had, I think he might just about have time to slow down and get it ready to do another lap. But I think this is most likely his final lap of the session as he now comes out at turn 2 and turn 3 with the DRS as he heads up towards turn 4. As we've seen before, you want to brake around the 100 metre board. Some people can brake a bit later, some a bit earlier, depending on the setup. He now heads down into turn 4, then completely eating the curb on the inside as you ride the curb on the exit at turn 5. Then you head through the Simon section at turns 6 and 7, and beyond that, with a 28.5 down by a tenth in that first sector, so he's got to gain it all back in this middle and third sector as he now heads out of turn 8 up the hill in towards the downhill section at turns 9 and 10. Very difficult section here, and Fion's got to get this right, which he does, I think. Very nice there from Fionn. And it's a bit slow on the apex and misses the apex a bit, but he carried a lot of speed through, so that should help him as he comes now in towards the end of this DRS section at turn 11 and 12. Just want to brake before the 50 metre board, throw the car in, back on the pair nice and early. You want to go out wide to get a nice line. Then you head up into turn 12, eat the curb a little bit, just let it pull the car around, and then you want to go through. Oh, a bit of a slide, bit of nearly lock it up there in towards turn 13, and he was down by 13 thousandths, but he did gain some back from his first sector. He now heads down in towards turns 14 and 15. Rides the curve on the exit as he heads up towards the line. Will this be an improvement for Fionn? Can he get himself into the top 10? No, he can't, but he was an improvement, just not enough for a position, which is a big shame. Max Wiesel won't be setting another lap time in this session.
Yeah, Jeremy invalidating his lap. He was actually on a good run, but he's going to be disappointed, invalidating it right at the end. So it can all go wrong right at the end as the improvements continue coming, but Max will not be one of those drivers. So he's going to start best at second, but there's still improvements coming behind.
Yep, and Viola that up into P3 with a 0.5. Floris Wires is the one now. Coming up to line. Can he improve from his previous time? Yes, he can. A 27.181. Puts Floris Wires on provisional pole, and I think that's going to be a real struggle for anyone to beat. Harlan Marquisette finishes in 7th with a 27.724. Yernay Tripkov jumping up to 13th. And Menno De Beaver there finishing just behind him in 14th. And that was Jona Martins into the top 4. So after saying he's not getting any good lap times in, he's currently sitting on the second row with his Ferrari teammate. I'm on board battled with Sergio Sobrino, who's in... No, he's not. He's 2/10 up as he comes through that middle set. So this is looking for a possible P3 in qualifying for Sergio Sobrino. Daniel Kaya there has finished, and he's going to stay in 10th at a 27.776. Now, Sergio Sobrino into the final corner. Can he try and deny pole, or can he at least get himself onto that second row as he comes up now towards the line? What will he be for Sergio Sobrino? It will be P3 with a 27.509. Tiger Hardy there up into 8th position. Richard Jacobs, he was very quick in the first part of qualifying. Where will he go today? He will only finish 10th at the end of qualifying, which is a big shame for him considering he's sitting P3 at the start of the session. I think Thomas Lemon there, just jumping.
Yep.
Aljat down at 17th place, and very, very interesting qualifying session. I don't think Jeremy and Lillian are on laps. No, they're up. So there we are. That is qualified and ended, and I think, unsurprisingly, Floris finishes in first. Max Fiesel, without a final lap, still finishes in second ahead of Sergio Sobrino in third, which I think was a really great lap. And then Simone Viola, who's obviously on the Xbox before, doing very good on PC, currently sitting in P4. And Jona Martins in the top 5.
Yeah, that was a great qualifying ending there. However, it wasn't really much for the front as Max wasn't able to get a final run in. So we literally thought it was going to be Floris or Max, and it turned out it was. So yeah, great qualifying session there, and it basically shows that Max just still being in second. No one got close to him, and he didn't even have a final run. So that basically shows how ahead are the top two. So it's going to be a battle between these two, and then I think we could have a battle for third, and then some other groups of battles throughout the field. And yeah, it's going to be a very good midfield battle as well in this.
Yep, and here's the top 10. Floris Wires, Max Fiesel, Sergio Sobrino, Simone Violo, Jona Martins, Lillian, Jeremy, Tiger Hardy, Andres Lopez, and Richard Jacobs. Then you have Harlan Marquis, Daniel Kaya, Legend Rosenberg, Phil McKee, Yone Trupkov, Menno de Beva, Thomas Lamanen, Aljat, and Mikolaj Nowicki at the bottom in 19th. And before we get going into the race, we are going to have a quick word from our sponsor over at GT Omega. And we are back. So also, if you're going to buy anything from GT Omega, maybe it's the Prime Cockpit or the GT Omega chair, make sure to use code PSGL at checkout. That is PSGL for a 5% discount code. It helps us, it helps them, and it also helps you. It might not be much, but you know, it all goes a long way and it all adds up in the end. So yeah, obviously, GT Omega is still with us for season 34 of PSGL as we now get ready to wait for the drivers to ready up. Obviously, now everyone's going to be sorting out the strategies. Like the fuel, the tyres, and might also be making a few adjustments to set up. I think you could do a few limited things between the qualifying and the race. And also, we'll have a formation lap, which is something great to see. Obviously, on last game, we abandoned it after about 2 races due to the fact it was really glitchy and just did not work. And, yeah, luckily, it's back for F1 23, and now we consider drivers head on for the formation lap. And I think, it's nice to have a formation lap because you get to build that anticipation at the start of the session.
Yeah, and also it's helpful with tires, which everyone is on the hard, but usually you can kind of see you can kind of see the different tires, and yeah, it's just a better build up to it all, and kind of gives us more time to talk about the race after qualifying. So so everyone on the hard, as I said, so no different strategy. So we're going to see everyone going the same. Obviously safety cars can still cause people pitting at different times, so that could make it a bit interesting, but everyone at the start will be on the hard, so it's going to be equal that wise, but we're going to still see a lot of action down at turn number 1 and through the opening corners. It's very tight through there, so I would not be surprised if we get any contact. But this is going to be a great start, definitely. And can Max get ahead? Floris will be on the defensive, but they are going to know that it's a very long race. I think this will go down, as it has in most social races, to the final lap. So it's really going to be an interesting one. Can Sergio or any other drivers who weren't able to maybe set the best qualifying lap, can they maybe spring a surprise and get involved? There's a lot of questions here, but they're all going to be answered. So it's hopefully we're hopefully going to be in for a brilliant race, and the circuit usually does deliver the 3 DRS zones. Most overtaking we'll see is towards turn 1, or you can kind of set it up towards turn 4. So we're going to be in for a fantastic race.
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised to see everyone on the hards because I've done about 3 or 4 social races so far in this game, and every time there's always been people on the softs, mediums, and hard. So it's quite a shame to see everyone back on the old hard to medium strategy. It'd be nice to see someone trying something different, but you never know. We could see the hard to soft possibly make a feature, but I think it's going to be a great race. So I'm going to go for Forrest being the winner. I think he's going to just about stick it out and keep that P1. But I think there's also many of the drivers who are going to fight for that position. And oh, I hate that overlay on the floor. You can see everything just being zoomed in. Oh, that looks really horrible. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with the start. But everyone now heading up towards the line, getting ready, weaving the tyres, and Flourish, you can see there aiming his car to the right. So he's not going to go for the the general straight pit box. He's going to just move to the right there, just so we can cover off Max Feast a little bit better. And I think that is Mikolai now heading up towards his pit box in a second. There we are. And sorry about all that glitch there with the screen, because it looks really horrible on my end as well. And there we are. So we have 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4, and the 5th light. And it is lights out and race on for the Bahrain Grand Prix now as we head down towards turn 1, and Max and Floris getting some really good starts now as they head down. And also I think that's Simone with also a good start on Sergio Serena as we head down. We go nearly 5 wide into turn 1. Surely someone's not going to make it through, and I think they all do. Everyone makes it through, considering we went 5 wide down to that first corner, and still Floris Wires keeps the lead from Max Fiesel. And I think the top 6 have not changed, being as the top 7 has, because Tycho's got through on Jeremy, and that's, I think, Daniel Koi. They're having into, he's dropping down. Got Thomas Laminen fighting with Rishan Jacobs. They're all coming now out of turn 4, heading in towards turn 6, 3 wide through into there, and surely someone's not going to come out of this in a good shape, and I think actually they all make it through. There we have Rishan Jacobs going for a move on Yone Tripkov down in towards turn 8, having a better line round the outside. He's going to have to hook it up as they head down now in towards turn 9 and 10, and I think Rishan's going to have a better line. Yes, he is, but can he hold it? Actually, he's going to go for a move as well, and oh, he gets 2 of them nearly as they head out of turn 10, and Daniel Kai having a bit of a better exit there, despite Rishan coming right alongside him as they headed down in towards that corner. Laminin there, moving up a few positions as well, having a really decent start, moving himself up into 13th, and apart from that, there hasn't been much action up at the front, because Lillian and Up have all stayed the same. So yeah, the main battles are down in the midfield as we see Andres Lopez looking to try and get through on Jeremy.
Yeah, yep. So the top 6 in grid order, basically. No changes there, but there was so much action, and you can see Rishan still trying to dive to the inside of the final corner. He's had an absolute frantic opening tour. He was almost smashing into the back of a few cars at the opening corner at the race start, as Fion McKee is also going to try one on Rosenberg. As we head there, so let's see, and oh, that is being squeezed all the way to the pit wall, so all of them getting aggressive straight away, but late on the brakes, inside line, and Fion McKee is going to get the place, and there's nothing Rosenberg can do about that, and Thomas Lehman is out. He's out of the race at turn number 1.
Yeah, he didn't, luckily, he didn't DNF on track. He just decided to click retire from session. So we won't get a safety car. It's just that Lemon's car will just pull over to the side, and that's, I believe, Mikolai having an incident as well. That was with Aljat down at 17 and 18. But yeah, big shame there. They all went about 4 wide into turn 1, so I knew one of them had come out in the worst position, and it was Lamin, unfortunately, who did move all the way up to 13th. So it's a big shame for him. And Tripkov looking now to get through, and Daniel, who's had a really poor start, losing positions after positions on the first opening laps of this Grand Prix. And as they head out of turn 9 and 10, we now head down the long back straight with the, well, not with the DRS yet, but there will be DRS next lap, in towards turn 11, where at the moment now we head to that point shortly where not many people can get through, and they're just, cruising behind each other, not taking too many risks. They'd rather wait for the pit stop to happen. We will see a few, but generally you don't see much happening from this point on. You had the first lap or 2 of chaos, and then it calms down. Then we get to the pit stop, and then we have another few laps of chaos, and then it starts to calm down again. So, yeah, the first lap was interesting. We got no one on the mediums and no one on the softs, so we won't see anyone really just gaining and gaining with that advantage, unfortunately. And Zaljak there moving down into 18th, being overtaken by Mikolai down at, I think it's down at the final corner. And Max getting very close to Floris into turn 1, but just not close enough to make a move. And I don't think at this point in time he'll be too keen on getting past, because it won't give him the DRS advantage. The DRS has been enabled now on this lap, so you will get that, I think, about 14 kilometers an hour extra speed or something like that as you head down the back straights and down the main straights. And Legend Rosenberg yet again looking to get his way through. He's looking to get through on Rishan, and Rishan's really making that car as wide as he can as they head through turn 6 and 7, down the hill in towards turn 8. And will Legend go for a move up the inside? No, he sticks back, so Legend thinking better of it there as they went through that section. Still, Rishan, I think he lost a couple of positions on that stop because he must have had an instant down to turn 1, but he's starting to recover a bit better. He's just got to get himself back into that 1 second, and that's Lillian getting through on Jona Martins there, and Jona going to get straight back through as they head down towards turn 11. So I don't know if that was an instant down into turn 10 with these two, because Tygo Hardy is getting himself back into the top 6 now, ahead of Lillian. Now going to be charging after Jona Martins, who's dropped 8 tenths back to Simone. So obviously it must have been some sort of battle with Jona and Lillian, and it's lost them both lots of time, because Lillian actually is going to go for a move on Tycho, but he's not close enough. Jeremy also going to be looking to try and pick up the pieces.
Yeah, brilliant squabbling all the way in the midfield. Currently, it states lap doers. They usually would calm it down, so a few battles here and there. I think we're mostly going to be seeing it Rishan defending against the drivers behind, and we're going to get a change for the lead. Max is going to get past, but usually we do see this. There, it won't really be a battle that goes much down into the braking zone. It will just be pass after pass after pass, and so most of the frantic action and most of the tight action is going to be Legend and Rishan where they are. Daniel also in there, and he's under pressure by Jane. So getting very tight there. Now Legend going defensive. Can Rishan try and shape back as we head to turn number 4? Doesn't look like he can on this occasion. And yeah, well, his teammate is going to be able to. Jane losing a position there as they made their way through turn 4. So most of the action coming through this pack, and yeah, Rishan really involved in quite a bit going on. Can he go for a late send? No. Legend was a tiny bit wide as well, but yeah, on the opening tour, Rishan, from what I saw in the background, he went for a massive lunge, but then just had to get on the brakes, and the car basically just getting away from them as they make their way through turn 10 currently. But yeah, on the opening tour, he tried a very massive lunge, and that was where we were getting really the 5 wide and all of the chaos happening. So yeah, really tried a late one, but then just had to back out of it. So yeah, but it was really frantic. So there was a lot going on the opening tour. But other than that, he's now just in this scrap. So the top 11 are in the DRS currently of Max Resell. And then you have this other train due to Rishan has been holding up everyone and battling away. So these guys have lost a tiny bit of time as well. But are we going to get changed for the leader once again?
Well, I don't know. I don't think we will, because it will be better just to stick behind, as you'll get that advantage. And Rishan there getting back ahead of Legend Rosenberg as they head down to turn 1. And also that's, I think, Menno go for a move on Daniel Koya as well into turn 1. But Daniel's got the inside line coming through turn 2 as then they head up there, well, a bit of an incline up the hill as they go in towards turn 4. And I think Rishan and Legend are going to be fighting again. Yes, they are. Legend with the inside line gets himself through, and still I believe that is, yep, Menno still trying to get past Daniel, and Rishan going for a move now up the inside into turn 6. Does he get himself through? Because Legend's got the inside line. Turn 7, and there goes round. Legend there, goes round. He actually has a collision with Menno de Bever. So there was actually, and there's a safety car, but normally they go state, but no, it seemed that Legend didn't go state for Menno and took Menno with him. So safety car is out. And yeah, that was a very tight one. Rishan, could he have left space? Yes, but it's a very tight corner, and Legend should have knew Rishan would have left a little space because of the type of corner it is. So it's a very difficult one there, but yeah, Legend sitting down in 17th. He's got wing damage, and Menno unfortunately came out the worst of that. He wasn't even involved, and he ended up coming out of that DNF. But Rishan, he's definitely been getting his elbows out at this session so far, and it's, well, one of them has not ended in the way that his teammate would have wanted, and also not in the way his rival would have wanted. That's Legend and Menno. So that's a very interesting one between those two. Lap 5 already got a safety car, and Max is now ahead of Floris because he overtook at the start, and no one would pick because there would be no point whatsoever unless you got some sort of wing damage.
Well, a few drivers in the background just kind of trying to get each other to try come in as well. But, oh, yeah, so Andreas is going to come in to the pit. So he's coming in. Rishan, he might have some damage. I wouldn't be surprised if he does after his whole race so far. He's just been frantic his whole race. So let's see if he's repairing a front wing here. He's not. So it's just tyres on this occasion. So, yeah, a few drivers just going a tiny bit different here. And yeah, it was really frantic between Rishon and Legend. Neither one of them really wanted to, as Jeremy's been given a 5-second penalty, but neither one of them wanted to give an inch. And it was a battle that continued all the way down into 5 and 6, where one driver does have to give an inch at some point, and neither did. So that caused contact. And yep, so it's really unfortunate. But Rishon, yeah, he has really been really aggressive so far in this race. So yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what he is gonna be able to do for the rest of it. But Legend will still be behind, so that could be a battle that will continue. But yeah, so in this race, I think most of the battles are just gonna be taking place all the way near the back, where they're trying to improve. But at the front of the field, I think it'll probably be calm right till the end of the race. Maybe a few changes, but easy passes in a straight line. But other than that, I think it's just going to be on the last few laps they're going to start battling properly. But other than that, I think we're just going to get a few changes here and there.
Yep, and the issue the medium runs have got is they're going to take their tyres 23 laps, which is a pretty long time. On hards, that's 23 laps is long. So on these mediums, I think their main plan at the moment is possibly wait for another safety car. So, you know, charge their way up on the field on these hard runners. Then hopefully a safety car comes out. Otherwise, this strategy, I can't see it working at all, personally. I just don't think it'll work. But we'll see, because anything can happen. I know in the race I did last week, people pitted this early and they ended up making it work out because there was another 4 safety cars afterwards. So, yeah, these mediums have gone for a bit of an odd strategy. I think that was Harlem and, well, it's Jeremy, sorry. He had some wing damage after an incident with Harlem and Mikolai as well, heading into the pits to get a set of mediums on. And Jeremy's got a penalty. That was why, not a damage. He had a penalty to serve. So that's why he's in the pits. And Mikolai, let's see why he was in the pits. I think he must have had some sort of wing damage, possibly. I'm not sure.
No,
because
it was basically just changing tires. I think he
okay.
just wants to jump on the mediums because I was watching him, didn't change. But yeah, Jeremy just wanting to get the penalty out of the way early, which is good. But yeah, the mediums have a very long way to go, and they're going to be, I think, hoping and praying for another safety car, which is possible. But yeah, so I think we're going to be getting them fighting through the field, but the top 10 just having to kind of defend. But the top 10 have to make another pit stop. I think they'll be able to shape back later on when the others mediums start fading. So it's going to be interesting. Will they be able to last, and how's it going to be at the end? But I think they're hoping for another safety car where they're able to pit.
Yeah, they need a safety car, otherwise they're going to be in lots of trouble. Because yes, they'll be able to charge their way through the field a bit easier now on this, on the safety car restart. But after 7-8 laps, they're going to just drop off. Yeah, the mediums will make it to the end, but they will be really slow when the hard runners pit, so it's going to be a difficult situation for them. Unless Andres can get through the field in 1 lap and then just pull away. Otherwise, they're just going to be chased yet again by these hard runners who will pit onto mediums as well. Mediums to soft, yes, it would work, but I don't think it'd be worth it for Andres and that, who was in the top 10 already. I don't think that would have been worth it because they've got to charge through. Pit to soft, whereas the others will go straight to mediums. They'll have better tyre wear and the safety cars in this lap. So, mate, take it away.
Yep, so Max Wiesel will be taking us back to green flag racing. Flores will be in behind. I think most of the overtakes we're going to be getting off on the medium drivers, but Max about to take us back. So when is he going to go through the final corner now? And he doesn't want to dish out too much of a slipstream, so it could get a bit tight down there. But who is going to be making overtakes as Max is going to take this further all the way to the finish line? But when is he going to go? He's going to try and catch Flores out. And there we go. Max takes us back to green flag racing. And are we going to be getting any changes towards turn number 1? Flores trying to tuck in the slipstream. As there we also have the McLaren of Fion McKee trying one to the inside as well, as they all make their way through. That's a very late launch to the inside. The 2 Ferraris very close together, as that's going to be Simon and Sabrina going wheel to wheel. And it gets very tight between them as we head towards turn 4. Sabrina's going to get that place. I think Hardy is also getting involved in this scrap as we head now through towards 4. And Sabrina around the outside is going to take it. Hardy will try to go around the outside of Jona Martins, who gets a big slide as he makes his way through, which kind of ruined Tycho's momentum there. And that's going to be Lion also getting the move done, and Simon in 7th. So they've all been able to get through, and it's very, very tight. Harlem, Jane, and Andreas also trying to get the move done as we head now. Is he going to be able to go around the outside? Surely not. Can he maybe go for a late send to the inside? He's going to risk it on those mediums. He's almost into the back of Simon, but he's got that move done to take 8th place. And off the road there goes Alat, as through goes Rishan to move up to 11th. But Alat having a moment there, but at the front of the field, they've maintained the order.
Yep, heading down into turn 11, there's about 6 or 7 cars all piling their way through, and Rishan luckily getting himself through. He's put himself into P11, and he's then going to have to having to chase down Aljat in the Haas as they go down to turn 13. Oh, nearly makes contact with the Haas there as they go through there, but luckily they both make way through, and Menno's left the session, so. Yep, he was DNF anyway. As we now go down in towards turn 14 and 15, that's Harlem there being overtaken by Aljat, and that is Rishan Jacobs as well now, getting through on the 2 of them as they head down this back straight into turn 1. And with this glitch here, I can't see anything as we head to turn 1. There we go. We can see a bit more. Now, Harlem's on the outside. Can he get Rishan? No, he can't. He's going to have to brake later, but Rishan nearly hits the back of Yunai Tripkov into turn 1 as they go through now, and Harlem's been eaten up by the pack at the moment. Aljat is going to be the next one to get through, and Harlem as they head down in towards turn 4, and that's also Nwiki there looking to get a move on Phil McKee, who's sitting back in 17th. So he had a really poor start there as he's dropped all his way. He's dropped all the way down the field along with Harlem, and Lopez, look at this, he's working really well for him. He's up into P6 there, so not getting involved with all that battling down at turn 11. He got himself through, and he's now getting himself to look to try and get through on Tygo Hardy, who's sitting in 5th, and Jona Martins very close to being outside the 1 second of Jona, and also Floris Wires is outside the 1 second to Max. And there we are. That was Andres Lopez up the inside of Tygo Hardy down at turn 9 and 10. He's really, really making this work now, and Aljat yet again going very wide down at the exit of turn 10 as we head through, and Tripkov fighting with Legend Rosenberg. This is for 11th position. We've got Legend on the new mediums and Tripkov on the old hards, and better grip for Legend. Gets himself through into P11 now, and as we head down, it's now going to be Aljat's turn to try and get through on. That's Jurno Tripkov up the inside at turn 13. They make a bit of contact and then make their way through still, and that's going to be Jeremy now going to look to get on the 2 of them, but has to tuck himself back in as he knows that move is not going to work. Now we head through. It's turn 14 and 15. I think that is Aljat just ahead, and Tripkov having a bit of a rear slide as they head through. And Jeremy getting through on Tripkov, but can he get himself through an Aljat as they head down in towards turn 1? And Lopez there now getting himself up into P4, and that's Floris and Sergio Sobrino fighting into turn 1. So this is getting very interesting, but Max, his advantage is getting bigger and bigger. So Floris just not getting that start he would have wanted, and as soon as you get yourself ahead, you're not going to get, as soon as you get yourself outside that 1 second, it's going to be really difficult for Floris to try and catch back up.
Yeah, that's Simon trying to go all the way around the outside of Legend. He's not going to be able to make the move there. Might open the door for Jeremy. No, it didn't on that occasion. But they've all been squabbling. There was 3 wide through turn 1, 2, and 3, all the way momentarily as well. But that's going to be Andre Lopez also moving up to 3rd place. He is on it on those mediums, and he's just making the moves. He's not really getting stuck in that big scrap happening behind. So he's just really on it. So he's already into 3rd place. He's going to be moving up to 2nd. He'll open the rear wing. The DRS goes open. He'll pull out of the slipstream, and then that'll be an easy pass as well. Off the road. That's massively off the road in the background. Is that Alec? Yeah, it is. Because that's opened the door, and he's losing places as well there. However, yeah, a lot happening, and they're all kind of really struggling. Lillian all out of shape. Will Rishan dive to the inside? Let's see, can he dive it? No, not on this occasion, but he is really close. So he's gonna stick close and then probably try one down the straight. But this safety car causing a lot of chaos, and a lot of drivers on the mediums and a lot on the hards. So it's really causing a lot of this overtaking. Because off the road goes Lillian, and through goes Rishan, which opens the door now. Also Simon is going to try and get the move. Well, actually he's getting overtaken by Jeremy. So Jeremy getting the move done, and then Legend now has got DRS. So they've all got it in this train, but he's just got better speed. That's also Rishan trying to go down the inside of Hardy, and Hardy's got pushed off the circuit, so it's getting tight. And when he comes back on, he hits Daniel, and it opens the door. Legend also gets past both of them, and might try one also on Lillian now to get through as well. But really, really feisty between all of them. And is Hardy still battling? Well, it's Jeremy now trying to go all the way around the outside. Is he going to be able to do it? No, he's going to be surely pushed off the road. He wasn't pushed off too much, but he wasn't able to go around the outside. But all kicking off. They're all getting really feisty. Can Lillian dive on Rosenberg? No, too far back. However, all of the action going on as they still go wheel to wheel and continue the scrap as we make our way now with this battle towards turn number 10.
Yep, and I'm watching Jeremy and Mikolai. They're fighting for P11 at the moment. Mikolai has got a penalty, so he will drop back because of that penalty he's got. And Aljat, I've noticed this is the first time in the last 4 laps he hasn't gone. Oh no, he has again gone wide at turn 10. It looks like as they head down in towards turn 11 with the DRS. And Andres Lopez, he's making this work really, really well. He's sitting 4 tenths back off Max. He's 1.8 seconds clear of Floris Wires. This is the type of thing we wanted to see with his mediums. Andres has done it perfectly. Everyone else has been stuck behind Rishan, been stuck behind Jonah, but Andres has just flown through. He's got the DRS. Surely he'll get himself through on Max Vehicle as they head down now. Andres with the DRS and the ERS and the better tyres as they now fly into turn 1, past the start-finish line. And there we are. Andres Lopez takes the lead of the race. And there we have Rishan getting through on Jonah Martins. And Sergio Sereno eyeing up a move on Forest Wires, but sticks behind for now. So doesn't want to get himself through just yet. So just sticks in that P4. And actually, Floris had a bit of a snappy exit coming out of turn 2. DRS for Sabrino. Does he try and take that P3? No, he's working with Floris, I think. Yeah, he is, because you could see he just turned the wheel a bit there. Went left to right. I think that he's saying to Floris, I'm going to stick behind. Let's work together. Because Rishan is going to be a lot quicker as he heads through now. Behind both of them in towards turn 8. And he's got the better mediums. They will be a lot quicker. Does Rishan send it? Yes, he does. Sends it on the inside of Sergio. Ooh, and he cuts it a bit tight. Sergio defending very well there as they head out to turn 8 now. And Rishan still stuck behind. Can't get through. Legend Rosenberg there getting through on Jonah Martins. I don't think Jonah fought that too hard because he knew that Legend would be quicker. And Simone now down to 14th position. So this has really not worked out for him at all. Same as Jonah, Fionn and Harlem. Just being eaten up by all the medium runners. And that's Daniel Kaya there getting through on Jonah Martins down at turn 11. And Rishan Jacobs getting through on Sergio Sereno. So all these medium runners making this work. And finally, because of this difference in strategy, the battles are actually coming out. And that's Sergio and Legend fighting down to turn 12. I saw that in the corner of my eye. But then I thought one of them was off. But luckily, they both make it through. I think it was just Legend that went a bit wide there as he got a bit eager to get through on Sergio. And Daniel now looking to get himself up on into P6 now as he gets through on Sergio as well. So now Sergio and Yana and Lillian all stuck where they are down in P7, and they've got a pit still, and this glitch still on my screen. I can barely see anything as we head down the straights. And Jeremy getting himself into P9 ahead of Lillian. Two of the room cars, actually, sitting P9 and P10. And Rishan getting ahead of Floris Wise now to put himself into P3. And still that's fighting the lead 3 wide through turn 1. And Floris making a bit of contact with Legend. Did Legend get damaged, or was that some sort of brake marker board? I couldn't see. It looked like it was either a piece of car.
A bollard.
Oh, bollard, that's good then. At least no one got damaged as they come through into turn 4. And finally, this safety car created some real action for us.
It absolutely has, and it's Andre Lopez has absolutely made this one work, and it's really what you want to do. Not wasting any time in this in all of the other battles, which the drivers are going 3 wide, 4 wide, and not risking any contact. Are we going to get a late launch here by Daniel? Thinking about it on Floris, but you kind of want to make the move as soon as possible on those mediums, but you don't want to have any damage because the medium one is battling amongst themselves as well, and then the hard driver is trying to keep their own position. So really, really tight and feisty it's getting between these drivers, and they're all trying, but Max currently sticking inside the 1 second. It'll be good for him if he can just run as Aljat is out of the race, and that's going to cause another safety car.
So now this helps Max, Floris and the hard runners. So it came out of the hands of the mediums. If they have another set of mediums to use, maybe they could make it to the end. But yeah, because I think 17 laps on the mediums is very barely possible. And so people are pitting, so we have everyone in the pits now. What do the medium runners take? Do they take a set of hards, maybe? If they've got any at their disposal. Surely Max and Floris will be pitting onto mediums. And they will. So what does Andres decide to do?
Mediums?
Yeah.
It's, okay, so this is basically worked out in the hands of the medium runners, because they've got fresh mediums on. So, so Andre Lopez now actually has the net race lead, but Jeremy's sticking it out there on those mediums, so he's going a bit different. But I'm sure that Andre Lopez, Max, and all of the drivers will absolutely swallow him with this safety car.
Yep, and the issue now it's created for the likes of Yona, Simone, Tycho, is they've all dropped so far back that because everyone's pitted onto to new mediums, it just doesn't. It makes it even worse for them because they can't really get that advantage that they would have had when they pitted onto new mediums. Well, these are on old. Now they're all on the same, so they're stuck down in P10 and 11. But Edris and Rishan have made this work wonders. Same as Legend Rosenberg. Remember, he was the one who had. I think he was the one who caused the safety car, wasn't he? He was down in 18th If Rishan after he had that spin. So, you know, considering what he's came back from, this is looking really good for him to get himself a top 6 finish. And Daniel as well, making that work with the medium tyres. But yeah, you know, it's not worked out for many drivers on the grid. But that's what you get when you take that gamble. You know, they gamble to stay out on those hards, and it didn't work. It comes down to a bit of luck as well. Obviously, you know, that safety car isn't, you know, it's never guaranteed, and it's never not guaranteed. So you just got to hope it comes out. And for the people who pit onto mediums and work their way through, it really, really helped them. But Mikko Nowicki has gone into some old hards, so that's not worked. Well, I don't think that'll work out for him too well, because his hards will be a lot slower than the others. Yes, those tyres last longer, but you know, realistically, he's not going to make anything work with them. But Jeremy is the interesting one to talk about now. He's on 7-lap older tyres than the others. Surely he's got to just defend as hard as he can, because this is for track position. He can't just let them fly past him, because obviously, you know, he's got to be a lot slower. So, do you think Jerome will fight hard, or do you think he'll just try and, you know, or do you think he'll just have a bit of fun and let everyone try and overtake him?
It's gonna be interesting to see. It could be it could be either. He could just let them through, or he could just go fully on the defensive. But all we know is that we're gonna be in for a brilliant remainder of this race now, and yeah. And we basically did say that the drivers who decided to pit onto the mediums on the first safety car, they needed another one. They have got another safety car, and it's worked out. And it's worked out for them, because now they have track position, and also they have they also have the same tire life as the other drivers. So it's really worked out. And yeah, Andrea Lopez will definitely be one driver, though, who will be defending. That's all we can say right now. And we're going to be in for a brilliant battle. But the question is, what will Jeremy do? Will he let them all go, or will he be on the defensive? And if he is going to be on the defensive, then that can cause a lot of chaos, because they're all going to be bunched up. They're all going to be stuck behind him, and he's going to be slowing the whole pack up. So we could be in for a chaotic few laps after the safety car. I think they're all going to get past him at some point, but the question is, how long can he keep it out there? So that's going to be interesting. But I think the safety car will be coming in this lap, as Tycho Hardy almost onto the back of the field. But we're really going to be in now for some brilliant few laps coming up, with Jeremy on older tyres, but with track position, and all of the other drivers with fresher mediums in behind.
I suppose the thing is for Jeremy as well, obviously, he had nothing to lose. It's a social race, you know, you can test things out. You know, he's probably just thought, you know what, everyone's picking. Why don't we just try something different, see how it works? Because I think the chances are, most likely, it won't work out. But there's that slim chance it could, and the safety car is in this lap, so now we'll be able to see what Jeremy can do and how easily he holds up the field. And we're just going to hope people don't end up hitting each other, because, oh, I say that, a legend hit Rishan. So, yeah. There we are. We've already got someone with damage. That's Legend Rosenberg. He's going to pull off to the side, because he knows he's going to be really slow on this restart, and he's dropping positions and positions. Actually, no, he's just fighting with Sabrino. They must have that glitch where one of them will get a penalty if they don't let the other one through, which isn't what they want. But back to the front. Jeremy's going to lead them off down in towards turn 1.
Yep, he will. So let's see, when is he going to go? It could get very feisty out here, down into turn 1. Where will Jeremy go? He goes. He has a good gap as we head towards turn 1, but they'll all be tucking in the slipstream. Will Max Wiesel be able to try one on Andrea Lopez? He definitely looks close. Who is going to be pulling out for the move? Andrea Lopez will try cover the inside. Max is going to get there, though, before he can. And also, Andrea Lopez is going to go to the inside line, and he barges Jeremy out of the way to take the lead. Max Wiesel will also follow through all the way around the outside he goes. He's moved up to second. Jeremy in third. Will Flores be able to go around the outside of turn 4? And we expected it to be feisty. It is feisty. They're very close in the background. They're almost 4 wide. As now, Flores goes around the outside of Jeremy. Can he get the move done? He'll have better traction as we head towards turn 5. So close in the background. Rishan and Sergio Sabrino there as well. However, Flores is into third. But all of the battling also coming behind as well. Now they're single file, but it's so tight. The two Ferraris involved in a scrap with Legend. And now we see all the way around the outside. Jona Martins, can he get the move done? He'll have the inside line for the next corner. But looks like they've all sorted themselves out. But Harlem still diving to the inside, late on the brakes. He's almost smashing into the back of Legend as he tries to overtake. And Legend goes off the circuit as Harlem battles away with Simon. And we're also going to see Legend rejoining the racetrack. And he's still going to be wheel to wheel with the Ferrari. Will Simon go to the inside? He thinks about it, but he can't do it. But there's a bit of a wide moment for Legend. And he's going to run out wide, which will give the position to Simon. Harlem's going to follow through Sobel, Fee and Mickey. And then Jane, as he's still battling away with Fee and Mickey, he's going to get past. He's into 12th. So Fee and Mickey in 13th. However, the new top 3 is Andre Lopez, Max Wiesel, and Flores.
Yeah, we're watching the battle at the front, and Rishon got through on Jeremy at the inside of turn 13, Sergio at the inside at turn 14 on Jeremy, and now he's just going to start dropping through the grid because Daniel Kyan are going to be looking to get himself through on Jeremy. But Legend, he had a bit of a scrap with the Ferraris because he obviously has a broken front wing, and the two Ferraris just piled into the back of him down at turn 7, and they had nowhere to go because obviously Legend went wide. He's got the damage, he's really starting away, and that's also another battle. That is Lillian there hitting the back of Daniel Kyan down at turn 1, and Martin's going to be looking to get himself through on Lillian as they head up now the hill in towards turn 4 with the DRS. Will it be, well, no DRS yet. Will it be the move for Yana Martins? No, it won't. But Lillian getting very close as Jeremy's also losing more and all positions. Now he's lost P7, he's lost P8, he's now down to P9, and surely it'll be P10 he's going to lose soon to Simone, who's sitting 2.5 tenths back as they go down into turn 8. And there we are. It's one round the outside, and the other Ferrari's got at the inside at turn 8. Yona getting himself through on Lillian as we're going to head down in towards turn 9 and 10. And Lillian was going to look through the inside of Yona, but just couldn't stick it as they went down into that section. That's Simone having a big slide through turn 9. I'm not sure if he got hit or if he just had a bit of rear locking going down into that braking zone from braking a bit too late. As now he puts himself into the top 9, and obviously with that penalty will drop down further. But it's, you know, it's getting a little bit better for him. He's making some positions that he wants to, but you know, either way, he qualified in P5. You don't want to be down in P9.
Yep, Jeremy absolutely swallowed on that restart as we expected, but you can see them all now kind of settling down a tiny bit. I think James also going to be getting the move done here. He's going to pull out of the system, going around the outside, easy pass into the before the braking zone. So yeah, but now DRS enabled, and Max Wiesel has some work to do. Flores in there as well. So a battle we thought which was going to be between Max and Flores is going to be a battle between those two. However, we've got Andre Lopez in there as well. So this could get very feisty all the way through towards the end of this race. And they're all kind of now, the top 3 pulling a tiny bit away of Rishon Jacobs, who hasn't been able to stick with the trains earlier on. So he's once again the same story. So that could be a battle forming. So we'll have a battle for the lead between the top 3, and then another battle forming for 4th place, which could go all the way down throughout the field. But Jeremy obviously, as expected, a tiny bit slower due to those older mediums and Noriki on those hards. So other than those two drivers, so I think we're going to be getting 2 groups, unless Rishon can also maybe get a tiny bit closer. But it is going to be really hard for him to stick with the leading pack, because we know how pacey those guys are. But yeah, Max really already right on the tail of Andre Lopez. I wouldn't be surprised if Max gets past and then Flores gets past, and then they battle and try and pull away. But Andre Lopez in a good position currently.
Yeah, as we head now through out of turn 13, and Rishon, you can see just within that, you know, he's 1.1 seconds back. It's very close to the 1 second, but he just can't make it work. And hopefully Sergio and Rishon need to work together now, otherwise they're going to lose more and more time, possibly. They're just going to pull each other along. Sergio goes through and Rishon. Then the next lap, Rishon gets it, so you can see there, yeah, Rishon letting him through, not fighting. And Max Wiesel there, getting himself into the lead now ahead of Lopez. And Forrest Wise also going to look for him at the inside in the AlphaTauri. Can he get himself through? Yes, he will. So now Andres Lopez, because of not having that DRS, drops down to 3rd position. So this is now the perfect position for Flores Wise. He's right on the back of Max. He's got DRS. Max hasn't. You know, Flores was sitting 3 seconds back before the safety car. Now he's 4 tenths behind. This is going perfectly, and Flores is going to be looking yet again to be fighting for that win. Sergio Sobrino getting through, and Rishon, they're going to start to pull each other along to get themselves back into that train with the top 3. But if these keep fighting down here, it's going to be really easy for Sergio and Rishon to get back through. Daniel Kaya 1 second back from Rishon and Sergio, so he's starting to lose time. This could also be because Sergio and Rishon are pushing like hell to get themselves back into this train. The gap's 1.1 seconds as they head down in towards turn 9 and 10. And is he close enough? I think it was close. Has Sergio got DRS? I don't think he has. I can't tell. No, he hasn't. So just close enough. Just close, but not close enough now as they head through into turn 11 and 12. And this is the key place for them to gain time. You've got to hold about 20 seconds of lap time here through turns 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 to gain yourself back into that 1 second. And now, as we head through, I just don't think it's going to be close enough. It's 1.1. So Sergio might need to use a little bit of battery down this straight now to get himself back into that 1 second. But I just don't think. Yes, still not close enough. So he just can't get himself into that 1 second. He dips into it, but then drops back out of it again. And has he got DRS in down here? I don't think he has. No, he's not. So he's still at that disadvantage. But now we've got Flores Wise right behind Max Fiesel. He turns his DRS off during the straight, so not really looking to get himself through. Would rather sit behind. They've got 9 laps remaining. At the moment, Flores' plan is just to stick behind and get back past probably on the last couple of laps. Now, we have Andres Lopez gaining a lot on Flores, but just not close enough to make a move. And to be fair, it's probably best Andres doesn't make a move because it means that Sergio and Richard can't get involved in this train.
Yep. Yep, and we're gonna have now Sabrino, Rishan working together, and they absolutely are. Rishan shutting the DRS, and then also Jona Martins and Daniel Kula also are gonna be working together because they've now lost that 1 second gap as well. But they are battling amongst themselves. But yeah, I think this is going to come down to the last few laps between the top 3 because Andre Lopez still in there, and if there is a wide moment, he could easily get involved. But it's all about the detection zone, and he has got DRS. Sergio Sabrino at the detection zone was inside the 1 second, so he's got DRS, but it's not. But it's still 1.1 seconds, 1.2. So it's all about what's the gap as they go to the detection zone. So he really needs to try and make sure that he's inside the 1 second. But first DRS for him, but he's still far back. And yeah, they are working together to try get in. But yeah, it's going to be really tight. But as soon as they're in, it's going to be really great for them because they're so they're involved in a battle. Sorry, my voice is going a tiny bit. I am having a tiny bit of cough, but if they are involved, but if they are getting in the battle for the lead, then it'll get very tight. So yeah, but Lillian also, but in a battle, and it gets really, really tight. Lillian, Jona, and Krulov, and all out of shape for Lillian, which might open the door for Jona. And Daniel is going to try to get past both of them on the run down towards turn 5. They're going to go 3 wide. Can he dive to the inside? It's so tight also. We have Harlem waiting right in behind. So it'll be Jona, and then it'll be Lillian, then it'll be Daniel and Harlem having to wait currently. Will Daniel dive to the inside of Lillian? No. So Jona in 6th, Lillian in 7th. Daniel in 8th, and Harlem in 9th.
Yeah, Harlem's really making this work. And we get spun. So we'll say that he gets spun round, as that was Theo McKee breaking a bit too late down at turn 9, and that's really going to turn 8. Sorry, that's really going to annoy Harlem as he's going to, he's lost positions. Theo's going to, and Harlem gets spun round again. So as soon as I say he's doing well, he gets spun round by, he gets hit round by Theo and gets completely 360s by Simone down at turn 9. And the commentators curse it's back again. At this point, I should just keep my mouth shut because every time I say someone's doing well, they get spun round. But now we watch yet again as Rishan and Sergio have actually lost time to Andres Flores and Max. They're 1.4 seconds back. So, I wasn't watching them, but they've really lost some time. So they need to work together yet again to pull themselves back in. But at this point, is it worth them even trying to get back, or should they just be focused on this P4 and 5? It's a good result no matter what. So maybe their main focus should just be, right, keeping their 4th and 5th and not worrying too much, because the more they fight and pull each other along, they make a mistake because they're pushing. Then it allows Jona, Lillian, and Daniel all to close back in as they're really having a good battle down at turn 1, and that's Lillian there going around the outside. That's Daniel up the inside at turn 1. Turn 2 inside for Daniel, but just couldn't stick it in now as we head through. And Jona Martins has a 3-second time penalty now. We head down in towards turn 4, and Lillian, Daniel, has the inside line, and that's also a big move from Theo McKee there. Completely snapped the rear. That was him going a little bit wide as well, and he just threw the car in, and Tycho there managed to get himself through, keeps it calm and composed. But Theon actually, he has wing damage. That's also probably why he ended up throwing it in, because he thought, well, I've got nothing to lose, might as well just try and have a bit of fun while I can. As now we head up the hill in towards turn 9 and 10, and Lillian still trying to get himself through, and Daniel, he's got better pace than these two at the moment, but he just can't make anything work.
Yep, and Rishan now 2.2 seconds, so they really haven't been able to gain as much as they would have wanted to. They've actually lost quite a bit of time, so I think soon they might just start battling amongst themselves. But yeah, other than that, it's been going crazy in the battle for 6th. Jona Martins, as you said earlier, picking up that 3-second penalty. It was basically earlier on this lap. And then Daniel, Lillian, all of these guys involved in a battle. And then Hardy, Fionn, McKee losing some time, 1.3 seconds now, but a lot of damage are picked up after some of this battling. But I think Sergio Sabrino is now gonna go for the move. He's gonna have to go to the outside, sitting behind, trying to work together, but hasn't worked out for them. So Sergio Sabrino now making the move to see what he is able to do. But it won't be the only one, because Daniel Kula getting the move done on Jona Martins, and also we're gonna have Simon getting past Jane into turn 1. So a few moves taking place there, but I think the leaders are just waiting now till the final few laps, which will be soon. Flores, Andre Lopez just sitting behind, so they're going to be getting ready to pounce and saving their ERS. ERS-wise, Max Riesel does have a bit of the advantage over the other two, so that could be interesting later on. He'll need it to defend because Flores and Lopez will be coming right at him. But Lillian getting super close to diving on Yoda Martins, whose rear is basically snapping away. So he's trying to keep it going, but he's almost losing the car. Getting really tight between them. And off the road, there goes Simon in the background in the Ferrari. That will allow Jane to get the place when Simon rejoins. He has the AlphaTauri ahead. So the position being changed there. But yeah, Richard Jacobs now on the back of Sergio Sabrino after Sabrino got the move done. So he'll try fight back. And we'll see what Jona Martins can do with the penalty now, of course. And Lillian and Hardy all in the battle as well.
Yep, and Jona Martins going to be getting very close. 1.5 tenths on Daniel Kaiser, head down into the final corner. And Tripkov, we haven't spoken about it much this session at all because he hasn't really been involved in much. He's got involved with that battle with Simone down at... and he's got a penalty down at turn 10, but that's about it really. And now we have a 3-wide battle into turn 1. Lillian trying to get the two of them, Jona and Daniel, into turn 1. Can he get them? Because Jona does try and stick it up the inside at turn 2, and I don't think he can. No. So there we are. Lillian now up into that P6 position. Daniel Carr going to try and fight back with the DRS standing to turn 4. Can he get close enough? I don't think he will be. Actually, he will be. Yes, really good line for Daniel there as he goes through, and Lillian's still going to try and stick it around the outside. Jona Martin's also going to try and pick up the pieces from this between these two as they go side by side still into turn 6 and 7 there, and Daniel just getting himself ahead. So working out really well for these guys. I think at the moment between P6, 7 and 8, you can't really call who will take that position, who will take which position, because now we've got Tiger Hardy involved as well. You know, he's sitting down in P9 involved in this train, so they're losing lots of time, but it's going to be a very interesting battle. But also look at the top, Sergio and Rishan are still losing more and more time, so I think they're having their little battle of their own because they know they're not going to catch up to the top 3. So just, you know, battle for P4 and 5. Don't bother trying to catch up to P1, 2 and 3. As we now head out at turn 11, and it's still Daniel ahead of Lillian, but these lot are going to keep swapping and swapping, and, you know, Daniel at this point, he'll go down the straight, he'll lose 2 or 3 positions, but then by the time we get to lap 26, he could gain them back. So, you know, that's the thing, this DRS, it's more of a, you know, it doesn't really help you overtake, it literally does the overtaking for you, especially down the main straights as we head through. Into turns 14 and 15, Lillian 2.5 tenths back, and he has a big slide coming out of the corner, but it doesn't harm him too much now as they head down with the DRS yet again. Look at this now. Lillian will get through, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jona gets through. Actually, that's Tiger Hardy going for a move as well on Jona Martin. Jona's going to drop down to P9. Lillian gets back. I think Daniel's going to try for it. Lillian gets through. Daniel tries to hook it up, can't. So now we've got Tiger Hardy back into P8. Jona Martin sitting behind him, P9. He's got his penalty. He'll just drop further down the grid now with that time penalty he's got. And Lillian back into P6, but Tiger Hardy there making it work. Got himself a bit of ERS usage, got the DRS and got himself through on Jona Martins. Caught Jona napping a little bit, I think, as Jeremy Pitts now onto some soft tyres. Will probably be looking to take the fastest lap of the race. As obviously now he's got nothing to fight for. He's sitting P15. He pitted really, he stayed out on that safety car after he pitted really early on. And yeah, he just tried something different. Didn't work, but he had a bit of fun regardless. So now we've got Phil McKee fighting with Simone Viola now as they head up the hill at turn 9. And will it be the inside line for Simone? I think it might be, but I don't think he's got it hooked up just enough. No, he hasn't. Oh, and that's Theon losing it completely on his own. Bit of rear locking. He's got damage, so yeah, that's not surprising at all.
Yep. He's not going to be happy with that, of course. Now, out of this battle for the final point place, it is only a social race, but I think they'll still want to be fighting and finishing the highest they can. And yeah, these social races are really fun because it's obviously not the usual league racing, but it's still it's a bit more fun, but still a lot of serious racing for us all to enjoy. And it's kind of good, Richie, that we didn't talk about Trepkov for too much, because when we did, he's got a penalty. So yeah, the commentators' curse taking place once again. But will Richard Jacobs pull out a assist and go for the move? No. But is there going to be any others as we head towards turn 1? Doesn't actually. Yep, we are going to get one. That's going to be Trepkov getting the move done on Simon Violo and into turn 1. But it's a tiny bit wide. Yeah, it is wide by Jane. So let's see. Are we going to be getting the up and under now towards turn number 4? Harlem and Fionn McKee also battling it as well. But we're going to focus currently on Simon. Can he go around the outside of turn number 4? Can he do it? No. So we'll see now Fionn McKee to the inside. Harlem is going to try fight back all the way around the outside. Will he be able to hold it? That is a fantastic move. Kept it around the outside and kept his foot pinned, and he was able to maintain it. Usually you don't see the driver on the outside come out on top unless they unless they can be unless they get a better exit and can get good traction. But yeah, a great move by Harlem. Fionn McKee couldn't do anything on the inside line there. But are we going to be seeing any action now from the top three? We're heading near the final stages of this one now. We are in the final stages, so we could be getting some moves soon. But I kind of think this is going to go down to the last lap.
Yep, and Haaland having a big slide through turn 9 and 10 and go for a bit of a Tokyo Drift style corner as he went through there. And Fionn, last time they met at turn 8, it was Fionn hitting the back of Haaland and Fionn getting damage and Haaland being spun around. But luckily at that time, they made it through. And, you know, Fionn's going to lose lots of time now. He's already, nearly a second back from Haaland because that wing damage, it's really hurting him. And now we have Flores Wires gaining, and Max doesn't get close enough. We have Andres Lopez also trying to gain but doesn't get close enough. Now we have Rishan and Sergio side by side. I think Rishan was close enough. They go side by side into turn 1 there. Bit of argy-bargy through that corner as they head up, and Rishan does take that P4, but now it will be DRS for Rishan, so he was just behind at that DRS zone, giving him that advantage down into turn 4. Now we have Koya and Lillian fighting for P6, and Lillian shutting the door saying, no, thank you, Daniel, you can stay behind. So he's still keeping that P6, and actually, they've caught back up to the train of Sergio and Rishan. So now, this could actually be good for Lillian, because it means he will have DRS. The others behind will as well, but that counterbacks it, so you know, Daniel's not going to have much advantage now over Lillian as we head through down in towards turn 9 and 10. And now this puts Rishan under more pressure because he's leading this whole train down to P9.
Yeah, it has, and as soon as you are in the DRS of the car ahead, you also get the same right as the car behind, so really helpful. And then you aren't a sitting duck, so it kind of makes it a tiny bit more equal, but it just depends if you can get good exits. And yeah, Flores on that lap. He was close enough. He has been close enough for moves, but he's just sitting back. He doesn't want to get the move done now. And let's see, as he now makes his way to the final corner, we'll cut to some other battles if Flores doesn't go for anything. But we are now heading onto the penultimate lap of the race. Let's see if he's going to pull out of the system and go for it this time. He is going to pull out this time, and he is going to go to the inside line. And Flores is going to take the place. Can Wiesel fight back? Not on this occasion. Looks like he will try, though, and stay close and then shape back. Also, we might be getting a move. Can Lillian dive to the inside? He's almost into the back of Sergio Sabrina, but he has been able to get to the inside line. And they're going to continue this grab. Will they get through just about? A bit of time hanging, and Sergio Sabrino is going to be spun around. So Sergio Sabrino, and he's out of the race as well. Such a disappointment for Sergio Sabrino, and it looks like he's just pressed retired after that spin. Not happy at all, as Andre Lopez really, really close now to the back of Max Wiesel, who's lost some time. He needs to get much more closer if he wants to challenge Flores on this final lap. So that'll be interesting. And then also, who's going to come out on top in the battle for fourth? So this is going to be a very interesting final lap, Richie.
Yeah, I think the battle for P1 will be between Max and Andres, because I think Andres, you know, he hasn't got that advantage. He's a little bit too far back. But, you know, Max makes a mistake now, it's all over. Same as Flores, you know, they've got to keep it in because, yeah, Rishan and that are 6.5 seconds back. But if you spin, you are literally going to be just swept up by the field because Rishan down to Yona, they're all within that 1 second gap of each other, so they're just going to fly past. So these top three now, they've just got to stick it in. They've got to be careful. They don't want to be too aggressive, but of course they want to be fighting for that lead. So they've got to, you know, they've got to think of this now. This final lap as, you know, it's a do or die. And Andres there back going into the back of Max, and that's pushed Max wide actually, hasn't it? Down at turn 1 and turn 14, sorry, and Max there having a bit of wheel banging with Andres as they fight now down to turn 1. Will it be Andres or Max? Max will be angry after being forced off. They go down to turn 1. Andres being pushed onto the curb there. And now, will Max keep it? Because I think there will be DRS for Andres, but there won't be DRS for Max. As we now head up the hill into turn 4, who will be ahead? I think it will be Max. I think he's just about kept it from Lopez as he sent Lopez a little bit wide down at turn 1, because obviously Lopez sent him wide down at turn 14. There we have Kayat looking for a move on Lillian, and Lillian is also looking for a move on Rishan Jacobs, but I think Rishan has just covered it off. It's the final lap now, so we have one more DRS opportunity, which is down in towards turn 11. So now, at this point, you're not going to make anything work. It's all down in that final. It's all down into turn 11. That's all that's the only opportunity you have on this final lap. Now, Lillian sitting 3.5 seconds back off Rishan, so he's got to push now into turns 9 and 10. Maybe try and break a little bit later, just try and get that perfect line. The gap's 0.5 of a second, so I just don't think it's close enough.
Yeah, he really isn't close enough. He needed a better exit, but let's see if Simon will be close enough. That's for a lower position, but doesn't look like he's got the best exit either. So unless there's a bit of a mistake for any one of these drivers, it looks like they're all going to be clear. And Flores is about to head to the final corner, and Andrew Lopez hitting the back of Max Wiesel right at the end, and it didn't make it a contest right at the end for the win. So Flores will come out of the final corner to take victory.
Yep, Floris Wise now coming out of the final corner. He's had a really perfect race so far. He comes to line and he wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Max Wiesel there, having a bit of a battle with Andres on the last lap, does take that P2 after going very wide. And Andres there, after having that strategy work perfectly under that safety car, will take the final podium position. Then Richard Jacobs will finish P4 ahead of Lillian by less than a tenth of a second. For Daniel Card to come over 6th, Tycho in 7th, Yoda in 8th, and then we have Trepkov 9th and Simone Viola taking out the top 10 position. There we have Harlem in 11th and Phil McKee with that damage finishes P12. Then Mikolai will come home to finish in 13th after having a pretty poor race. And then Jeremy, after trying to make something work under that second safety car, didn't work out. But he tried something, so props off to him for that as he now comes out in the final corner to take that P14. And there we are, the glitch. It will drop Daniel dead to 13th. Sometimes if you click leave session, when the race finishes, it decides to DNF you. So yeah, Daniel did get classified, but that didn't seem to show so. But Flores-wise, after after that first safety car, he was in a bit of a predicament because it was looking like he was going to lose that position, that P1, because he was sitting 3 seconds back from Max and Andres. Safety car closed in, he made it work perfectly, kept himself calm, didn't really get bothered by the pressure, and took himself that P1. But there we are, the final classification. Flores-wise, Max Wiesel and Andres Lopez taking out that podium.
Yeah, and it really did seem like that. Andrew Lopez, obviously being the third car, he needed some chaos in front, so he really wanted a good exit coming out of the final corner. So that's why he went really late on the brakes and smashed into the back of Max Wiesel. Really unfortunate for Max Wiesel, but that forced Max Wiesel off. And then obviously then they continued the scrap into turn one. But it was really an aggressive last lap. But I'm not surprised that they continued. I'm not surprised why it was so aggressive also towards turn one, because Max Wiesel would have been absolutely angry with that, because that might have been a chance. Obviously he wasn't close enough, but you never know. He could have maybe got close and challenged later on, but he didn't even have a chance after that moment. So yeah, he showed his angers by a bit of wheel banging towards turn one, but Andrew Lopez just super late on the brakes at the final corner, trying to maximize his exit, but instead hitting the back of Max Wiesel, which kind of cost them both time, and they continued and battled for second instead.
Yep, and we have a couple of interviews, luckily. We have Floris, who was our race winner, also Brisham. We'll drag them in. So, Floris, the race winner, welcome in. It's nice to see you back on that top step. How did that race go for you?
It was, tough. Really tough. First of all, also congrats to Max. Like, his first stint, I was a little bit struggling on the hards and trying to find what brake bias and brake differential to use, and didn't work for me. So he pulled away with through 2.5, 3 seconds. So that was a bit unfortunate. So I need to work on that. But other than that, the pace on the safety car came at the correct time. The pace on the mediums was good. I could save ERS behind him, and I think if without him, Andres Lopez hitting him at the end, fighting for P2, I think it would have been really close between us. But yeah, I've learned from last week. Safety ERS passed him on the penultimate lap and just drove away, and yeah, that's good. But need to learn for the first stint. And on qualifying, I got nothing to say because that was good, because I'm 4,000 quicker than the pole time yesterday.
Oh, was it 4,000 quicker? Oh, wow. I thought it was a 27.0, but no, 27.1. That was, yeah, very good.
That was a good lap, so not too bad, can't complain.
But to be fair, qualifying has always been one of your strong suits. I think, what we saw in F3 and F2 last game, you was always quick in qualifying, which is a great thing. But, do you think your race pace has improved? Because I think last time you had a couple of struggles here and there with race pace, but do you think you've kind of, tried to nail that in the coffin?
I think it's auto. It was always auto. I struggled with quali, and race pace was good, but now I'm good in quali and the race pace. I need to figure out how to have good race pace on the hards, because those tires are like the drop off is really really sensitive, and it's then sliding all over the place. And the drop off on the mediums, I could handle them pretty well, so that's good. But need to learn more about the hards. But other than that, I think I improved from last game.
Which is a great thing, and I expect to. I expect we'll see you in PSGL next season.
Of course, that's why I'm doing these social races to show the public what I can do, and yeah, to already be quicker than a couple of esports drivers on, or than the esports grid is good to see.
Definitely. But thank you, Flores, for joining us, and we'll see you another time. So have a good one.
Thank you.
Oh, mate.
Rishan, so lap 1, it was very tight for you. So what actually happened there? Because it was really, really tight between all of the drivers. It was so close. It was 4 wide, 5 wide almost at times. So it was really, so it was really aggressive. So how was lap 1 for you?
Well, it was a bit of a disaster, Of course, it's a social race. People are going to try and take risks, but I wasn't expecting to be dive bombed left, right, and center, and people to be making it 4 wide on lap 1, which was plain unnecessary. Cost me a lot of positions, and it made me think I had a bit of damage as well for a bit. But I had to race like really rough just to get through the field, because otherwise I would be the one getting taken out, which, it was not the way I like to race, personally. But well, dropped to, I think it was P16 at one point, and strategy paid off actually beautifully. I wasn't expecting that. I know, of course, from a few earlier races that the tire difference on this game is quite substantial, but I wasn't expecting it to be this huge, basically on Bahrain, especially. But happy with how the strategy played out. I think I do need to work on this track quite a bit, because it's so far honestly my weakest track on this entire game. But the fact that I managed to still, fight through the pack and get at the end a pretty decent result, I think that says quite a bit about how the pace is this game so far. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the game.
Yeah, there was also contact between you and Legend Rosenberg. So what's your thoughts on that?
Which one? I had a few moments with him.
It was the one where your teammate was eliminated. I think
27.
Rosenberg.
Oh yeah, the first safety car. Yeah, I was very confused why he was even fighting me that much, because I was at that point quite a bit quicker, and he was just constantly, DRSing past me. And it's quite a dumb thing to do, in my opinion, if you're gonna go into turn 4 here, which is just a bit too tight to go side by side this early on in the race without losing time. I was confused why he went so deep, so I switched back to him, and well, I feel like I feel like I could have left him a little bit more space, but I feel like I had enough of my car ahead at that point on track to warrant me just leaving a little bit less space than usual. But it's racing; it happens.
Yep, thank you, Rishan. Hopefully, you have a better race next time out. But yeah, still the strategy working out great for you there. But yep, have a good day, and we hope to see you soon here in PSGL.
Yeah, hope to see you too, man.
Well, there we had our interviews. Only 2 today. It was Rishan and Flores. Nice to speak to them as usual, and we'll now pop ourselves back onto the camera screens as we get ready to wrap up the stream. So it's been a great race. Lobby 2 is also underway, so if you want to hop over to there, make sure to do so. I believe that is hosted by Chiz and Epic, I believe. I'm not too sure. So yeah, make sure to head over there if you've got a bit of time. I'm sure they're going to have another great race as well, another stats grid over there. But it's been great to see all of you in the chat tonight. So thank you all for joining us. Thoughts about the fact you killed me, Bax? Well, to be fair, I just saw you go wide and saw Andres go deep, so I didn't actually see any contact, but that was just the camera angle, so I don't know. yeah, I'm not going to have much thought about that personally yet, unless I see a clip. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. It's been a great stream. Our mate, it's been great to have you alongside me for the first time, and hopefully we get to do it again another time soon. But everyone, we'll see you again next time. F1, obviously, remember to come back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for round 2. I don't know where it is. I believe it's at Texas. I believe they announced the calendar earlier on, or
Yep.
at least the first half of the calendar or something. So yeah, make sure to tune back in for that next Wednesday and. Jump yourselves over to Lobby 2, which is actually underway now. I think their race has just started, so you ain't going to miss too much action there. So yeah, our mate, anything before we go?
Not well, not really, but I've absolutely loved commentating with you, Richie. Yep, as you said, hope we do it again. But make sure you also tune in on Monday to the the PlayStation social races as well. As yeah, but but that's really it. So I've absolutely loved it, and we hope to see you soon here at PSGL.
So see you later, everyone. Have a good one and goodbye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Up here is through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.